Good morning, viewers. This is Shantanu Thatte and I represent Hosmac India Private Limited. Today is 14th March. So what is so peculiar about it? Any special event? To the best of my knowledge, it is the birthday of a global scientist we all know, Albert Einstein, who won a Nobel Award for his photoelectric effect. The second person I vividly remember is the Bollywood Dangal fame actor, that is Mr. Amir Khan. And the third person I know personally as well as professionally, he also needs no introduction because I think there is hardly any person in healthcare sector who wouldn't know about him. And I am talking about the founder and managing director of Hosmac India Private Limited, Dr. Vivek Desai. Good morning, sir.
Morning to you. Good morning. Let's start with the questions. So the first question is, how did you contemplate about the idea of Hosmac and when did it come into existence in your mind?
So I think this is strange events. I would say in terms of destiny. Uh, I actually lost my father when I was in first MBBS in Udaipur, Rajasthan, and that actually led me to use his sort of savings commercially in terms of investing in fixed deposits at that time in banks. They were getting good rates in private companies as well. So I used to do a lot of that, go back and forth from Mumbai where my mother used to stay, come back to the hostel. So I learned some element of commercial, business. After completing MBBS, I would have probably loved to do masters in surgery, but somehow I didn't make it in Rajasthan. So I came back to Bombay. I gave it one more shot, to do pre-PG exam, at a national level. I was pretty confident, but somehow it did work. So then you were at crossroads. You didn't know actually, that whether what to do next. One thing I was quite sure, I don't want to do general practice. That was very clear in my mind. So I was that time working as a resident medical officer in Surat Hospital, and I was just thinking what to do. And one day I read a advertisement in Times of India that there is this course of hospital administration diploma in Tata Institute of Social Sciences. So I thought that might be a good, probably a career option. So that's how the thing started. I somehow went through the interview, got selected, and about 3 months into the interview, I realized that the field of hospital management is not much known in India, and if someone gets into it, early, probably that might be a good career to follow. So that was how I sort of veered away from medical practice into administration. Life was not easy. I did that diploma program, uh, and I had no job actually, because at that time youngsters were not probably favored, for hospital administration jobs, and private hospitals were less. Most of them were run by charitable trusts, and most of the trustees had a viewpoint that they have the required experience, so they don't need someone who has that kind of capability. So much so that I was about to give up when my dean from Tata Institute of Social Sciences called me that faculty was leaving, and would I want to take up his position in Tata Institute as faculty to teach health economics. Again, it was a great subject for me. I audited again the full course of health economics. Dr. Bhatia, who was my tutor at that time, went to London School of Economics, and I took up his place, instead there. And then, I got a job in Hinduja Hospital, where I was working as administrative medical officer. 1 year into that job, I realized that this has good potential. I had a colleague there, Mr. Oza, whose father was chief financial officer of Mumbai Hospital, and they used to run a small consulting practice. That's how my exposure to consulting practice happened. And the only thing there was that they used to do only market research and feasibility studies, and I was trying to sort of tell them that the horizon could probably be widened, because both of them were from finance, so probably that was their forte, so they wanted to stick to it, and I wanted to sort of try other avenues, into that. And I then thought of something like hospital consulting, as a practice. And luck by chance, I got introduced to the chairperson of a hospital which was coming up in Surat. It was called Mahavir Cardiac Hospital, and that was where I think my first uh, big break, came in consulting practice, because till then I was operating out of my home, not much work except some small market research here and there. But that was the first, big assignment that I got, and I thought this is something that I can chase. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So the follow-up question to that, since you started your own practice, how were you able to fund it? Who gave you the seed money for this innovative idea, and who were the people who believed and supported you in the initial years, which must have been difficult?
So I think where there is a will, there is a way, kind of a stuff. Uh, as I was growing in the consulting practice, I also did MPhil at that time from BITS Pilani. Just added more, weight to qualification, because when you go hunting for consulting practice, you need to have a fairly good academic background as well. And there, when I was introduced to many others from various other hospitals, all over India, there were contact programs at Pilani, BITS, and Bombay Hospital. So from there, it took till then I was practicing as a freelancer consultant. The idea took root that I need to put this into a corporate structure. So I did some research, and I thought that I will put up a private limited company. And the idea was that the company should not be known as Dr. Desai and Consultants, like how generally practices are in chartered accounting or law firms. You generally have your name. So I thought that I will separate out the entity from my name. If something goes wrong with me or my name, it should not spill over on the company. So this word of Hosmac, came through. I think it was the seventh attempt, that I got that name. Six attempts were, the name already existed with registrar of companies, and then came the thing of creating capital structure. So authorized paid up capital, and then the seed money, like you asked, was actually given to me by my mother, and it was a paltry 15,000, that we invested as paid up capital into the company. Home was where we started with. It was 370 square feet, one bedroom apartment, that my mother had, and the company started from there. I would say, in terms of encouragement, the entire family, though initially shocked, that what are you doing? You are a doctor. You're not. You are supposed to do practice, look after patients, and where is this leading you to? But probably because of the fact that I was the only son, and I got some good assignments in the beginning as well. So they said, okay, give it a shot. My elder sister, who unfortunately passed away, but she was the other one who pushed me. That she said, okay, you want to chase your dreams, do so. My mother was always, had always given me a free hand. So from there, the journey started, in terms of Hosmac. Yeah.
So what made you kind of, how did the idea struck you that there is a dire need of such kind of consultancy in the hospital sector? What was the triggering point? We can start up some kind of consultancy by the name Hosmac.
So, I think when I was working in Mumbai as a resident medical officer in Shushruta Hospital in Dadar, I was there first as an RMO, and then I was transferred into intensive care unit as an intensivist. When you work in such kind of crucial departments, you realize that it needs to work well, for otherwise things may go wrong.
Right.
And I could see a lot of things which were, probably could have been done better. You know, So from there, that came into my idea. Then when I did the hospital administration course, I was working in Shushruta Hospital. So the case studies and everything which used to be given for students, most of it was done in Shushruta Hospital. The medical superintendent there also liked it. In fact, I was introduced to the trustees also, that I'm so and so, and we should probably use his services, kind of thing. So that led me to the idea that there is enough to be done. There are so many hospitals which are there. I already had some experience with Mr. Oza and his company to do feasibility market research. I could also see that when I was working in intensive care, the unit was not, it was cramped. I could see that a better plan, could have probably worked out. And when this opportunity came in Surat, we were actually asked by the owner to help the architect. Now, luck by chance, that architect was also new. He was of my age. That was probably his second project, and somehow he got that thing. So we were told to assist him, to give him, ideas about hospital planning, what's an operating room, what's the process, function, flow, and all of that. That was taught to us in hospital planning. So that was a bit easier for me that time. So that's how it started, and I realized that this is something that probably can grow much bigger, because healthcare is required, hospitals will be built, and I think that's how the journey began. And there was Dr. Panda, who was an advisor to that hospital. He used to travel to Surat, once in a while. So he noticed us there, and he then came to me asking whether I would want to help him to build his hospital.
Right. So he was our first client?
Yes, to be very honest, I was so shocked, when he said that, Vivek, can you design my hospital? I told him, sir, I'm not an architect per se, so that's a tall order for me to, take up something like that, and I don't have the wherewithal to do it. But somehow he had the confidence, that he said, no, you can probably do it. I've seen you, handle meetings in that hospital, and you probably know a bit about hospitals, and I will help you there. And luckily, the architect with whom I was working, I mean, he was sort of my colleague. I won't say employee, but a consultant to us. He was from IIT Kharagpur, Hussain Warawala. So, and he his focus was on healthcare. So that was something that both me and him got along very well with Dr. Panda. In fact, with the basic design, he actually sent us to Cleveland Clinic.
Okay.
I mean, you can imagine, you have never designed a nursing home or a clinic in your entire life. You are given a problem of designing a 400,000 square feet, a state of the art cardiac center in Bandra Kurla complex. So, it would have either, finished us off,
Yes.
or it would have launched us. So, I think luckily the second bit of it happened.
Right. So that time, where was our office?
So like I said, began from home.
Yeah.
After that, we took up a small rental office of about this room. It must have been about 110 or 115 square feet in a chawl at Old Prabhadevi Road, and then we took another unit of 114. So it became about 200 square feet of an office, and it was unbelievable that we were having meetings with Dr. Panda,
In that particular office.
that office, with many consultants having to stand. I mean, it was just, now if I look back,
Right.
you feel embarrassed that, you
Yes.
call some of the big consultants in the city,
Right.
to your office like that. Yeah. So it was humble beginning.
Right. Okay. So, and this, being your brainchild, I would like to you. I mean, from your kind of perspective, to explain these services of Hosmac in nutshell. I mean, it's available on website, but it's better if you hear it from you.
So you see, one thing led to the other. So we began with market research, doing market research to understand what kind of hospital one should put in the given locality.
Yeah.
And after that, we used to probably do some element of costing, so project cost, so we knew equipment costing, civil works, we understood. I was able to do the income assumptions, expense assumptions, but I was not very good in the in the cash flow and profit and loss and all of that. And you won't believe this, but the first detailed financial plan I did was Dhirubhai Ambani Hospital in Patal Ganga.
Okay.
There was an architect who had designed it. He knew me, from my neighbor, and he said, "Can you do this?" So I just said, "Okay, I'll give it a shot." And I was literally, sort of the viva of that financial was completely, I was sweating, when they, because they were all financial biscuits.
Okay.
Mr. Satish Seth, who's later on became a very higher official in Reliance, was the one who actually, but he cleared it. So that gave me the confidence that yes, this market report kind of a thing, detailed project report, is something that we can do. We had done some work helping the architect in Surat, so that led us to belief that we can probably start to dabble in design. So that's the second thing that we attempted. We were lucky; we got some good people, to align with us, young architects but intelligent ones, and Hussain was a good guide to all of them. So the design piece of it started. From Asian Heart, we got Hiranandani Hospital, we got Godrej Memorial,
Right.
in quick succession. So in about 3 years, we got 3 projects, and all three of them are, reputed hospitals in city of Bombay. So that was a good break. Then that led further. Then what next to do, and Dr. Panda then asked us to do project management. So we entered in that field. Because at that time when we started to do project management, there was hardly any concept like that.
Right.
It was generally the architects who were doing, and so one thing I had always had was I would want to do whatever was the best. So for project management also, we tied up with a firm called Bovis Lendlease, which was one of the world's largest project management company based out of UK. uh, Bovis was British and Lendlease was Australian. There was a merger of two companies, and luckily the regional director of that firm was my schoolmate. Okay. From Kota, Rajasthan, and that was another stroke of luck. So I'm saying again, destiny probably played some role there, and I met him on a traffic signal.
Okay.
That was amazing.
Achha.
And both of us together were able to put up a 400,000 square feet hospital in Bandakurla complex, Asian Heart Institute, in 20 months flat. So that had two basements, ground plus 5 floors, and that was, everyone was surprised that how could we achieve something like that. So that led to addition of project management. And then once we were doing that, we thought that the next logical thing to do is equipment planning, procurement, because clients usually were asking. So we added that piece, took on some people to do that. So where also we got a very good break when one Mr. Rajiv Pradhan joined us. He was ex Philips, and we got an assignment with Hinduja Hospital, to do complete equipment audit of their asset. I think it was 70 crore inventory of Hinduja that we audited, and gave them a 5-year replacement plan, which they followed.
Okay.
So that gave us the confidence that, and Hinduja is one of the best hospitals in the country, and they had a biomedical engineering team of 10 people.
Right.
Despite that fact, they thought the third party, can help. So that's how, that stream came in. So that sort of completed the loop. So we were doing the market research, we were doing the design, we were doing the project management, we were equipping the hospital, and last but not the least, we also started. Last bit of our thing was uh, commissioning assistance. To set up hospital policies, procedures, tariff structure, salary structure, all SOPs to be written down for all departments, and so that hospitals, when they began, had something ready to start off with. So we did that for Hiranandani Hospital, and then Godrej Memorial, and bit of Asian Heart, and that Surat Hospital. So that, so that was a complete turnkey solution kind of a company that got built.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So since then, I mean, almost 28 years have kind of passed. How is the process of client handling has changed over the years? I mean, do we follow some kind of SOP? We get message, we get email, we get WhatsApp. how is our kind of response process on
I mean, if you are asking in terms of marketing, so we are not very good marketeers, to be honest with you. We generally got business by word of mouth,
Yeah.
but I had one thing which I kept on doing was keeping technology, driven kind of a business model. So I think when I was working with Dr. Oza, the first computer in the office was bought by me. I distinctly remember asking my mother for 70,000 rupees, to buy that, and she hit the roof. That you are not earning that much, and why? But I had a way to get around her, so she got me that, and so I learned computers. WordStar was there that time. There was no Microsoft Office. I underwent training in Excel, PowerPoint. So I understood that this tool is going to be very handy. So similarly, as soon as we launched the company, very quickly we got into a website. So at that time, website was not a very popular means. I mean, people didn't know how it operates and all of that, but we did that very early, and I think that helped, because when started people started to say search on the web in 90s, also late 90s, you were finding our name coming out of it. So, and word of mouth been also helping us, because we never let credibility go down. So we generally, assignments, even now we generally give clients more value than what we get paid for. So there are intangible benefits that they derive because of us, because the network now we have, and the knowledge base that we have created. So we even help them for something which we are not actually hired for. So that helps us.
Okay.
So, a follow up to that question, what in this journey of 28 years has been the toughest or the weirdest demand that a client has made?
Oh boy! So the first project, I distinctly remember, it was baptism by fire, if I can say that. And Dr. Panda, for people who have worked with him, he's a taskmaster. So, and to get someone like him, to was the grinding work, which we did for that project. I think set the tone for us, that we thought if we could do something like this, I think we can do many other things. And when I say taskmaster, it was 8 a.m. meetings in the morning, because he had surgeries, so, and he told me that you have to chair the meeting. I said, sir, I don't know anything about construction, cement, steel. He said, no, you will do it. I will be next to you. So that quite gave me quite confidence. I learned that pretty much quickly. The weirdest in the sense, when he told me to do construction management, that was quite a weird moment for me, because I've never thought of that. Well, he thought it for me actually.
Right.
And there also he was a taskmaster. I remember once, I got a call at 3 a.m. and heavy rains. He said, Vivek, my site is flooded. Where are you? I said, sir, it's 3 a.m. I can't. I mean, we'll meet tomorrow first thing in the morning at 7 a.m. But for now, I can't. But I think that kind of a thing, was very good. And also, I would say Dr. Yasudyan in Tata Institute of Social Sciences, I won't say weird, but he was very strict about the way he used to do things. So that got ingrained in me from the very beginning. And just immediate after Asian Art, I was introduced to Niranjan Hiranandani again. How a legendary figure like him looks towards business was good. I had interactions with Jamshid Godrej, Mr. Jamshid Godrej, for the Godrej Memorial Hospital. So I think in the beginning stage, I got exposed, to way how businesses think, how they manage, their people, how they deal, in meetings. So that was a good thing, that happened. That happened, yeah.
So, I mean, Hosmac is there for 28 years and counting further. There are competition in and around. Any threats? I mean, kind of, handling those. They have copied our name also, a few people, not to name.
I think I was never really worried about that actually. So there are probably about a dozen companies started by people who worked with me initially, and I'm proud to say that maybe all the big four also consulting firms have ex Hosmac,
Right.
people with them. So that actually gives me a satisfaction that I probably we created something and became a poaching place. I feel good about it. There's nothing wrong in it, and competition is always going to be there. So you need not be afraid of that. But the important thing is that you need to be ahead of the competition.
Yeah.
So if you look at us today, I don't think there is anyone, who has such a widespread of all under one roof, full time, people working towards that goal. That has been a little difficult, because you have people from various, faculties. You are a biomedical engineer, he's an architect, I am a doctor, there's someone else who is an MBA, then there is a draftsman, there is a MEP engineer. So it has been, difficult to do something like that. But good thing is we kept the company culture like a family,
Right.
so, and that cross pollination of ideas, I think, has kept us ahead of anyone else, and of course the use of technology,
Right.
so we are very enabled. We used licensed softwares to the hilt, we use technology for handheld devices. So when we are doing say project management today, all my engineers and the people who supervise them in Bombay get a daily report, of how things are going on, all of that. We are now using artificial intelligence, to see how we can do design faster, quicker, accurate, so all of that, you have to be a step ahead all the time. So
Right.
if you keep doing that, I think you should not worry too much about the competition. You should wish them luck as well.
Noted.
So we talked about how we have this diverse range of disciplines under one roof. So, in your opinion, what exactly are the biggest challenges of EPC and TD process?
So, TD, as you say, turnkey design. So, turnkey design to do everything under one roof. I mean, we don't have structure design as in house, but I think it makes more sense, to do something like that in house. You have a better control, you have a better coordination amongst each one of you, and if you use technology well, you will do it faster than if you are hiring an architect separately, MEP consultant separately, interior design separately, structure separately. So it makes a lot of sense if you are able to join them together. So when we initially thought of that, we started with architecture. MEP was not there, and then we realized that that is the most crucial bit of it, and it gets hidden above the fall ceiling. But it is the nerve center, of the hospital, because for us, air has to be clean. Electrical points, earthing, the environment that an MRI needs, the environment that an operation theater needs, the air changes, all of that. So that becomes much easier if you dovetail all of this together. As regards EPC, I think we've tried our hands on EPC. I think we've done about 100 crore worth. I think we did the first steel structure hospital at Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital in Delhi during Commonwealth Games. Went up pretty okay, I would say. But that somehow didn't gel with us. So when we were wearing a consulting hat, to change it suddenly to a contracting hat using the same human resource probably was the mistake. Should have set up a separate thing, because a consultant looks at it differently, a contractor looks at it a little differently. So we went a little bit wrong there. We might give it a shot again, to see whether we want to do that, because at one point in time, like everyone had dreams. So we said that when we took a bolus of private equity from Mr. Narottam Saxena, the erstwhile owner and vice chairman of Gujarat Ambuja Cement. The idea was that we want to become the McKinsey or the KPMG in consulting practice, and we want to become L&T, in the hospital construction space. Like if you go to it to do a power plant or a airport, the first name comes to you is L&T. That was the idea. So probably in consulting practice, we have become pretty known in terms of our design practice. Also, the hospital management consulting practice. All private equity firms have dealt with us, and they've sort of liked our work because they have cross-referred, given us repeat business. So that bit of it, may not be the top rung, but we are there. We are always in the reckoning when someone is looking out for good consultants. The EPC part of it, I think we probably didn't do that well. Inshallah, maybe we will again give it a shot. Yes.
So I could check the records. We have had handled almost 500 clients, more than that. Still, why a new client should approach us? For what good reasons?
I mean, you're the best. So clients generally stick to us, or come to us because we are probably the only ones who give all under one roof service. Offer quality which they want. So, and once you do something well, the word of mouth spreads. So I would say that 80-90% of our business is through word of mouth. So it's not like I have chased them. Of course, we do website promotions. We do events. That is something that we've been doing since a very long time. We run two. One is the hospital engineering summit, and the other one is a thought leadership summit. So two of them that we've done for a very long time. We also went and did some indirect help in terms of setting up a portal called healthcareexecutive.in. It was a magazine, printed magazine, where we would do research based magazine. It's not like a news kind of a thing. So, and our network helped us to do that, and that was a subtle way of marketing and reaching out, that and also giving back to the industry from where we grew. So that magazine still does well. It's got a readership of about 50-60,000 people, loyal readers. So those kind of things, we've kept on doing. So it's not that why we don't want new clients. We do want new clients, and they come.
Right. Okay. So the next question is, what is a good strategy for opening and managing multiple offices?
So I would say that we when we took private equity, we set up offices in Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Kolkata. You know, I think that bit of it, as I look back, did not did not do that well as a strategy. Because usually people in India like to get work done where you are head offices. So even if we were sourcing work from these offices, we were asked to go back to the main office to get the work done. So that was not making good sense for us to do that. And luckily for us, when COVID came, then we thought that we will wind that up. Gave us an opportunity to scale down all of those. So we now are concentrated only in Bombay. But one good strategy I think which happened with us was the opening of office in Dubai. So it was a different geography. So there people were not like insisting that. So we've been there now for 20 years. It's a fully owned subsidiary called Hosmac Middle East, and they have done well for themselves as well. And the gentleman there, Uday Kumar, has been with me for 27 years. I mean, I am the company itself is only 28 years old. So so he's been there for a long time. So he understands the ethos with which we work. We are very ethical. We don't like to cut corners. To either get business or deliver business. So if we are not going to be successful, we just plainly say no. This is not possible for us to do. So I think that has helped. So there also the growth was word of mouth. So strategically, I think if you want to open offices more, I think you should go to different geography rather than the same geographic location. I mean, in India also you could do still north and south of India or something, but I think now with all this virtual mode of delivering work, especially post COVID, most of them are okay with wherever you are located. It doesn't matter.
Okay. What are the lacunas of consultancy? What are the do's and don'ts that you have come up with these past years?
So lacuna wise, I would say it's you need to understand how to retain talent. That is where most consulting firms probably don't do too well. I mean, I'm not talking of the big consulting firms, but the smaller ones, because you need to have that top rung of people, to guide the juniors. So we've been lucky that all of our top rung have an average age in the company of more than, I mean, three people are more than 20 years, and another three are more than 12 years. So that has given us, that stability which is there. So attracting and retention of talent is something that one should understand. The other thing you need to really understand is how to leverage, your financial standing. That is very very important. I mean, not all consulting firms have good financial brain, right? So what I did probably was, got a very good chartered accountant who stayed with us for a very long time. He has guided us well, and also all the financial dealings that we do, or our financial records that we keep, are speak and span. So when we went for the private equity round, I mean, the investor was also surprised that our records were squeaky clean. There was nothing which they could find. So that's the other thing, which is important. The third thing I would say is, technology. I mean, you need to use technology. I have seen many firms not wanting to invest in technology. So I think that probably is not a very good thing to do. So that is the other thing. The fourth thing I would say is that if you run a business, you need to take a risk. When you are taking a risk, ensure that you are taking a calculated one, because that is important. So you need to have a plan B if your plan A fails, right? So so that is something, I would say, that don't take risk which is beyond you. Take a risk which is calculated, evaluated it properly on paper before you put it in action. So that is something else I thought. And one more thing is, always surround yourself with people who know the subject matter better than you. Never think that you know it all. So that is something that probably we sometimes go wrong, because we don't like people who are superior to us. So that is not, that way probably one loses out.
So that outstanding payment bothers you?
So outstanding payments, I mean, of course it bother anyone, so that bothers us. So we've been able to now curtail it quite a bit. And sometimes when you are not in a financial pink of your health, then that time it bites you. I think we're now past that stage, but there are ways and means to cover that by taking some credit facility with banking institutions or things like that. But I think if your work is good, outstanding payments, unless the client is in trouble, generally doesn't happen now.
Right. And sir, how are we curbing the kind of the problems what we are facing? I mean, as we discussed the lacunas, how are we improving on it? Like kind of for last 10 years, 12 years.
So I don't have those problems, you see. So I have my top line, with me for a very long time. You should give your people, the lateralization that they need. I mean, you cannot hold people accountable if you don't delegate authority to them. You
Right.
see, so if you are keeping someone as an HOD of certain things, then you need to give them almost about 80% independence of running their function.
Okay.
20% control probably you would want in some terms of discipline, or the way they do, or some punctuality problems, or some discipline kind of thing. But the rest of it you should leave it to them. Then you get, so they need to, everyone needs to love to come to work.
Right.
They should not be forced to come to work. You see, you got a point. So if you try and do that and create an environment like that, where people would want to come every day at 9 a.m. to your office, I think you're done.
Okay. And since we sell concept, we sell hospital kind of this design and planning services. What does marketing kind of warrants for us? Like a digital marketing is good enough, FB or Instagram, is that good for us to attract clients?
So I would say that in our line of work, word of mouth works better than all of these. Because the capital investment that a person is putting in is pretty high. So he's going to do his due diligence. Digital marketing and all. I mean, one cannot say that I don't want to do it. You see, today's world, if you need to grow beyond, you need to do that. So it's good to. So all social media helps mostly is making people aware of what are your achievements, accomplishments on a literally online basis.
Right.
So that is something that, so you can't avoid that. So we run our own Instagram, we run our own Facebook. So that is something that you can't avoid. So you have to, you do that. But I have seen that some firms who overutilize this,
Right.
but under deliver.
Under-
So then that's a problem. Because that will, you won't last too long. Because people see through you. So first is to ensure the quality of your product, and once you know that your quality of product is what you can believe and trust in, then you go whole hog in terms of marketing. In today's world, it's all digital.
Yeah.
So
So SEO is okay with this. I mean, SEO, SEM should be fine.
SEO is search engine optimization.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think I've done that, but yeah, it should be done. Why not?
Okay. So we have 8 offices in the building. I mean, we have multiple clients. Could see the records at this. Concurrently, you are handling 43 clients. There are 125 people. As a MD, how are you handling all these, errands at one page?
I mean, it's how you build relationship with your people. you know that's how I run this business. So I, like I said, once I delegate, then I delegate completely. I don't, in fact, if you talk to some of the earliest ones, the one who's in Dubai, the boy, he did his masters in hospital administration from IHMR Jaipur, and after I taught him, after my classes got over, he said, sir, I want to work with you.
Right.
He finished his MHA and he came straight to Bombay. I mean, I didn't even have a job for him. You get my point. So I just put him on the Surat project that we had, and he did wonders, and he stayed. So if you build those kind of relationships, the second one, Samir Mehta, who's now director projects with me, again 27 years, just 1 year junior to this gentleman. He also said, sir, if I ever work, I'll work with you.
Right.
So if you are able to choose kind of talent well and groom them well, I think then your own job goes down quite a bit. Then you are just coaching, mentoring, grooming, guiding, kind of thing which happens. So I have had a habit of picking a person, putting him in water. He has to swim. So I mean, now both my sons are also there. So I mean, I have not given them any extra
Right.
latitude. They have to prove themselves. Yeah.
Because all clients want to reach to you. I mean, there is Ishan, there is, I mean, he's an architect, I am biomedical, but everyone would like to talk, would like, to reach you first. How would you get off this back of yours?
So I generally don't, So I mean, the big clients will definitely like to meet me.
Yes.
So so I do that, and I keep that up till the point that the whole project concept is frozen. And we've reached a stage that, okay, now this is it, what we want. This is the basic schematic, design of the building, and we are on the road. Once that happens, I am actually out.
Right.
Then I am not the one they are chasing. Then they are, despite fact, some of them would call me. So that's, I mean, they are clients like that. So you have to,
Yeah. Yeah. And so, did you ever think that Hosmac would grow to this large scale, to large canvas? And it has already grown. How you're maintaining it day in, day out?
So to be honest with you, I had not thought that we will grow, with the speed with which we grew. The speed of it actually, was amazing. In terms of the theme, if you heard me in the beginning, that was already there, that we need to grow this. But everything happened in every sphere and very quickly. So that I had not anticipated. So there was a little bit turbulence in between. We made some losses also, I think, couple of years, but we got out of it. But otherwise, yeah, it's been a terrific journey, satisfying to a certain extent, because I always tell my people that don't think that you are working in a sector which is socially relevant. So and everyone wants healthcare, so you are going to create healthcare. and in the process you are earning money, so you are in the best possible place one can be. So I think we should keep thinking like that, and we should go on.
And sir, how you maintain the credibility as the most fulcrum of any
So
organization?
we don't let ethics go down at all.
Right.
So that is something that which has kept us apart from many other probably consulting firms, that we are known to be honest and our integrity is of highest order. So that we maintain. We have had some unfortunate instances where I've had to relieve some people.
Right.
So we don't allow that. So I think that helps.
So, along with working in India, what's been your experience working in the international sector?
So we were exposed to Middle East, I think in the year 2003. And since then we've been there. As an entity, we are there since 2010. So it's been like 15 years or 14 years, 15 years now. So I think the work there is more structured. We've had also experiences of dealing with design firms and consulting firms from the US, Europe. Uh, so what is difference between us and them is they are more systematic. They are more what do you call? They don't waste time. See, if they come at 8 o'clock, then the 8 to 4 or 8 to 5 is work. There is no lateral. And in our case, we tend to spend a lot of time wasted. They don't do that. And the structured way actually is something which came into our design because of the lady who leads it, came from Canada. So till then we were all haphazard. And if you are going to use softwares which are like Revit or the other softwares that we are using, that has a discipline. So if you break the discipline, the software doesn't help you. So that's something that we still need to learn from them. Discipline, technology, and structured way of working. I think they are a little better than what we are. We are catching up. Not that we are not. I mean, our work, I would say, is as good as what another consultant does, because we have won certain projects in competition with multinational firms. So the confidence, it actually builds your confidence quite a bit when you work abroad, and you're successful there.
What are the other things that we are sort of looking forward to or we want to grow in?
So, like I said, two things that one thing we tried, we failed, was the EPC model. We might try that again. We might go slow, small, and then try and see we want to build that out, and still become the L&T like we dreamt about. And the other thing that we've not tried ever is in the management consulting field is to run hospitals under our brand.
Right.
So that is something that we've not done. We've been giving retainer consulting to existing hospitals to improve their functions and the operations, but we've not done what say a Taj does, managed by Taj kind of thing. So that is, those two things are something probably we might try out. The other thing is, of course, to use artificial intelligence like what we are doing, and you are actually leading that. So that is something that we would like to see, because that would probably help us to do more work in a shorter span, and might be easy to sell that overseas market, say Europe, for example, or United States or UK. Yeah.
I think so. You have an unerring instinct of selecting people. So how do you gauge a skilled manpower?
To be very honest with you, I would say I've been a little lucky in that. Okay, and I don't actually go for the knowledge per se. That I take it as a given, that if someone is come for an interview, where my people have already screened him, then he has it in him. So I generally look for the softer aspects of a person. What has been his background, what is his aptitude when he's talking to me, what is his family background, how is he done in life otherwise. That is what I find more important for me, because I know that if I get a good person, I can groom him, because he's come to me for the job because he's qualified to do that. The rest of it we can probably teach him, but as a person, he has to be a good person. That is important for me. You know.
And sir, would you like to throw some light on the current statistics of healthcare? Like, 1,000 patients, only one bed is available, and rising medical colleges.
Um, India is long, long way away from becoming a health self-sufficient kind of a nation. So everyone knows we have about 1 point whatever number of beds per thousand. We need to more than double that. We need to reach three. So demand supply gap is still huge. I mean, we feel it is not so in big cities because there are too many hospitals. But India is not about only big cities, and these hospitals that you see is probably a fraction of what India needs in terms of beds. But while we do that, the emphasis has to be on quality of the asset bed. You see, I mean, you cannot say that I've just put up a building and put 10 beds in it and that's a bed. That's not a bed. A bed should, definition wise, should have proper infrastructure, technology, trained, nurses, trained doctors, all of that. That is a quality of asset that, we have to create. Okay. The government since 2014 has thought enough of that. Ayushman Bharat is one of the key things where they shifted their initial role from provider to a payer. So they thought that we should put money in people's pocket, and they should be free to avail healthcare anywhere, and I think that's worked for them. Till now at least it is doing well. So I think they are going to probably bring in the middle income also within that gamut. And whilst having done that, now they are concentrated more on creating the physical infrastructure. So what you heard in the budget, we want to create 75,000 medical admission seats in the country. We have about 110,000 today, and we want to add. So we're going to, in next 5 years, that's a tall order. I don't know whether we'll be able to manage that much, but they are doing that bit. So the government has saying that all district hospitals should be upgraded to medical schools and all of that. So I mean, I've heard this that we are creating medical colleges, but there's lack of faculty and all of that. But this is chicken and egg. So you need to create the human resource. You are going to feel the pain in the beginning, uh, because of deficiency of faculty and all of that. But I think this will iron out in say next 3 to 5 years, when the crop of what happened and set up in say 2015, 16, 17, 18, those doctors are now going to come out with MD/MS. So that's the time when India will balance out this problem of faculty and other things which are there. So I think we are in the right space, and we are probably doing the right things.
Right.
If all goes well, probably one more decade, India will be a fairly good healthcare space to be in.
It's a sunrise for medical colleges also, teaching hospitals.
So, teaching hospitals, everyone asks me that question, and we are currently doing, I think, about 6 or 7
Right.
medical colleges, projects, and what I think what has helped this growth is one is Ayushman Bharat, because earlier politicians or people who used to put up hospitals used to have to give it free, and the earning was only from capitation fees. Now, because of Ayushman Bharat, there is a substantial amount of income which is coming in. So nothing is free. So that is a good thing. Maybe about 40-50 crores they would get through that channel itself. And then if your infrastructure is good, if you take 150 students, every student gets you whatever 15-20 lakhs per annum. So you are assured of about a crore, from a student over 5 years. So once all 5 batches get in, that's an annuity income. You add to it the postgraduate, which is probably double the fee.
Correct.
And that is again about maybe 75 to 100 seats into 3 years. So you have so many people again. And then beyond that is the post PG, which is the DM and MCH. Again, about 40-50 seats you can create. And if those also 3 years, so it's about 9 years to 10 years, all this student population is going to keep paying you, the kind of fee structure at that point in time, what is prevalent. Add to it the Ayushman Bharat, and most of the other medical colleges who are now coming up are creating a private wing. about say 100, 150 beds. So this actually, is probably going to work out well, because you need that private also for cross subsidy. It acts as incentive for doctors to stay on. Apart from their salary, they will get some money from the private schools, private beds. So I think, it's working out well. I mean, it's still early days because all these projects have to take off, and we'll see that how they pan out. But the thing that the hospitals that we have seen already are doing pretty well.
Okay. Also, sir, I mean, I get a message from a lot many clients. You are little costly. Are we really costly in terms of our quotations?
But, that's a tricky question. So I don't think so. We have seen our kind of a pay. I mean, fee structure when we compare to what people pay for multinational consulting firms. I think we are still lower than that. Having said that, I mean, the way we work, the way we deliver, and the quality and experience of people we have, it costs money to do that. Today we are having a real estate of almost about 7-8 thousand square feet in city of Bombay. The lease rents, the licenses for Autodesk, the and other softwares that we use. It's not very cheap. So we don't make tons of money in terms of profitability, but you need to be careful that, so we have a system of cost sheet that we prepare, and we plug that in and see, and then based on that we peg our fee. So I don't think we are very expensive. People may think like that. I mean, the name probably is like that, and the client list probably reads like that, but I mean, I will leave it at that.
So I think one final question, and to end this, what would be your message to new entrepreneurs who, especially the younger ones, who want to start something as path-breaking as what you were able to?
One should chase your dream, no doubt about that. But one needs to be careful in the way you chase the dream. So like I said, take the risk, because without risk you can't be an entrepreneur. But take a calculated risk. So that is where people start to go wrong, and don't let success go to your head. That's where I think a lot of people go wrong. I think I would say, if I look 15 years back, probably I was in that stage where I thought that I can do anything. So that probably led us to some wrong decision making. So that is where things go wrong. If it goes to your head, that is, stay grounded, feet on ground all the time. And like I said, plan B always in mind. That what if something goes wrong, how are you going to leverage yourself? So these things are equally important when you are going to do something which is, but never fear to chase your dreams. Just be careful. That is what. Yeah.
Yeah.
Closing words, Sisha?
Yes. So I forgot to mention in the beginning, but happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
It was,
Yeah. Thank you.
it was really nice to have a reflection on the past 28 years of what working in Hosmac has been, especially for someone who has just joined very recently. A lot of this is also news to me.
All right.
And yeah, it would be nice if you are able to maybe get some photos of the past times and just have it somewhere documented.
Sure.
Yeah,
We'll try and do that.
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Party
Thank you so
also.
much. Yes. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.